Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Matt and Sara Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sara. Hi, everyone. We are so happy you are here with us today.
Today is going to be a really fun episode. We have a great topic for you.
Yes, and it is a topic that is very useful for your daily life, not just for English, for every day.
Exactly. Today, we are going to talk about habits, how to talk about your habits in English.
Habits. I love this topic. We all have habits, right? Things we do every day, every week.
Right. And in English, there are some very common and important ways to talk about what you do regularly.
So if you are a beginner, don't worry. We will go slow, we will explain everything, and we will give you lots of examples.
Yes, this podcast is for you. We want you to understand everything. So let's start slowly, okay?
Perfect. So, Matt, let's start with something simple. What is a habit?
Great question. A habit is something you do regularly, not just one time, many times. For example, I drink coffee every morning. That is my habit.
Oh, yes, coffee. That is a very common habit. I also drink coffee every morning. I cannot start my day without coffee.
Me too. And that's a great example of how we talk about habits. We say, I drink coffee every morning. Present simple.
Present simple. That is the key grammar for habits in English. Let's explain this for our listeners.
Yes, so in English, when we talk about habits, things we do regularly, we use the present simple tense. This is very important.
The present simple. Okay, so let's give some examples. Matt, can you give a few?
Sure. I wake up at 7 o'clock. I go to the gym on Mondays. I read before bed. These are all habits.
Beautiful. And notice Matt says, I wake up. I go. I read. We use the verb in its base form. No ing, no ed. Just I plus verb.
Exactly. Now, for he, she, and it, we add an S to the verb. For example, she wakes up at 7. He goes to the gym. It starts at 9.
Yes, very important. He, she, it, add the S. I, you, we, they, no S. This is present simple.
Let me give you one more example. My sister works in a hospital. She starts at 8 in the morning. She finishes at 4.
Perfect. Works, starts, finishes. All with S because we are talking about she. Good job, Matt.
Thank you, Sara. Okay, so now let's talk about the words we use with habits. These are called frequency adverbs.
Frequency adverbs. These words tell us how often we do something. They are very, very useful.
So the main frequency adverbs in English are always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never.
Let me explain each one. Always. This means 100% of the time. You do it every single time, no exceptions.
For example, I always brush my teeth before bed. Every night, without exception. Always.
Good. Now, usually, this means most of the time. Not always, but almost always. Maybe 90%.
I usually eat breakfast at home, but sometimes I eat at a cafe. So usually at home, not always, but most of the time.
Perfect. Then we have often. Often means many times, but not as much as usually, maybe 60 or 70%.
I often cook dinner on weekdays. Not every day, but many days during the week.
Now, sometimes means it happens, but not all the time. Maybe 30 or 40%.
I sometimes go for a run in the evening. Not every day, just sometimes, when I feel like it.
Then rarely. Rarely means almost never. It happens, but not very much. Maybe 10%.
I rarely eat fast food. Maybe once a month, maybe less. It almost never happens.
And finally, never. Never means 0%. It does not happen. Not at all.
I never skip breakfast. Never. Every single morning, I eat breakfast. 0 exceptions.
Great. So let's review. We have always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never. From 100% to 0%.
And these words, where do we put them in the sentence? This is important for beginners.
Yes, great point. In English, these frequency adverbs go before the main verb. Listen, I always drink.
Excellent. See, listeners, practicing with small exercises like this really helps. Try it yourself at home.
Okay, let's take a small break and then talk more about how to describe habits in conversation, like how real people talk.
Yes, because it is one thing to know the grammar, but it is another thing to use it in a natural conversation. Welcome back, everyone. So, Matt, let's imagine we are just two friends talking, and we are talking about our daily routines.
Okay, great. So, Sarah, what does your morning look like? What are your morning habits?
Okay, so I usually wake up at 6:30. Not always, but usually. I'm a morning person.
Oh, really? 6:30, that's early. I never wake up that early. I usually wake up at 8.
8? That's late for me. Okay, so after I wake up, I always drink a big glass of water. Before coffee, before anything.
Oh, interesting. I never do that. I go straight to coffee. That's my first habit every morning.
Coffee first. I understand. Okay, then after water, I always do some stretching. Just 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. You are very healthy in the morning. I sometimes do exercise in the morning, but not every day.
I try. It helps me feel awake. Then I shower, get dressed, and make breakfast.
What do you usually eat for breakfast?
I usually eat eggs and fruit, sometimes toast. I rarely eat cereal. I don't really like it.
I usually eat something simple. Bread, fruit, and coffee. I'm not a big breakfast person.
Okay, so listeners, did you hear that? We are using all of these words naturally. Always, usually, sometimes, rarely, never.
Yes, and we're using the present simple. I eat. She drinks. He wakes up. This is how we talk about habits in real life.
Now, let's teach you some more phrases, because sometimes people don't just use frequency adverbs. They also use time expressions.
Yes, time expressions are very helpful. For example, every day, every morning, every week, once a week, twice a month, on Mondays.
Let me give you some examples. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I call my parents on Sundays. I clean my house every Saturday.
These phrases tell us how often and when. 3 times a week. On Sundays, every Saturday. Very natural, very useful.
And you can combine them. I usually go to the gym 3 times a week. I always call my parents on Sundays.
Great. Now let's talk about good habits and bad habits, because that's something people always talk about, right?
Oh, yes. Everyone has good habits and bad habits. Nobody is perfect. I have some bad habits too.
Me too. Okay, so how do we talk about good and bad habits in English? Let's think of some examples.
Good habits. Let me think. I always drink lots of water. I often go for a walk after dinner. I usually sleep 8 hours.
Those are great habits. Okay, bad habits. I sometimes eat too much sugar. I rarely go to bed early. I often stay up late watching TV.
Staying up late watching TV, I do that too sometimes. That is definitely a bad habit.
We can also say, I have a habit of. For example, I have a habit of checking my phone in the morning. Or, I have a bad habit of eating snacks at night.
Oh, I like that structure. I have a habit of. It sounds very natural. Let me try. I have a habit of making lists. I love making to-do lists.
Yes, Sarah is very organized. I have a habit of forgetting things, so maybe I need to make lists too.
You should start. Okay, let's also talk about how to ask someone about their habits. What questions can you use?
Great idea. So, the most common question is, what do you usually do? For example, what do you usually do on weekends?
Or, do you often? For example, do you often cook at home? Do you often exercise? Do you often read books?
And, how often do you? This is a very common question. How often do you go to the gym? How often do you eat out?
Let me answer some of those. How often do I go to the gym? I go about 3 times a week. How often do I eat out? Maybe once or twice a week.
And I go to the gym maybe once a week. I eat out quite often, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I don't cook very much.
You don't cook much? See, that's another habit. Some people cook every day. Some people never cook.
I sometimes cook on weekends, but during the week, I rarely cook. I'm too tired after work.
That's very common. A lot of people are like that. Okay, so now let's talk about how to talk about habits you want to start. Oh, this is interesting because in English we have phrases for new habits or habits we are trying to build.
Yes, for example, I'm trying to. I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to exercise more. I'm trying to sleep earlier.
I'm trying to read more books. I started this habit a few months ago. I try to read at least 30 minutes every night.
That's great. And we can also say, I've started. For example, I've started meditating every morning. I've started going for walks after lunch.
And for bad habits you want to stop, you can say, I'm trying to stop, or I'm trying to cut down on. For example, I'm trying to stop eating sugar. I'm trying to cut down on coffee. I used to drink 5 cups a day. Now I try to have just 2.
Wow, 5 cups, that's a lot. But yes, cut down on means to reduce, to do less of something.
I'm also trying to stop looking at my phone before bed. It's a bad habit. The light from the screen makes it hard to sleep.
Yes, that is a very modern bad habit. So many people have that. I do too, honestly.
We all do. Okay, let's also quickly talk about past habits. What if you had a habit before, but you don't have it anymore?
Oh, this is useful. In English, we use used to for past habits. I used to wake up at 9, but now I wake up at 6.
Used to. I used to eat a lot of junk food, but now I eat healthier. I used to watch a lot of TV. Now I read more.
Used to means it was a habit in the past, but it is not a habit now. It changed.
So the structure is subject plus used to plus verb. I used to smoke. She used to run every day. They used to eat out every night.
And the negative is I didn't used to. For example, I didn't used to exercise, but now I do. I go to the gym every week.
Or, I didn't used to like vegetables, but now I love them. People change. Habits change.
Exactly. And that is a beautiful thing about language. You can talk about the past, the present, and what you want in the future.
So, to summarize what we have learned today, let's do a quick review. Are you ready, listeners?
Let's review. First, we use the present simple to talk about habits. I wake up. She goes. They eat.
Second, we use frequency adverbs. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never, to say how often we do something.
Third, frequency adverbs go before the main verb, but after the verb to be. I always eat breakfast. I am always hungry.
Fourth, we can also use time expressions like every day, twice a week, on Mondays, once a month.
Fifth, to talk about habits we want to start, I'm trying to. I've started. To talk about habits we want to stop, I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to cut down on.
And sixth, for past habits that are not habits anymore, we use used to. I used to eat a lot of sugar. I used to sleep very late.
Perfect summary, Sarah. You're good at this.
Thank you. Okay, let's do a little activity now. Matt, I want you to ask me some questions about habits, and I will answer. Listeners, try to answer too, in your head or out loud.
Great idea. Okay, first question. Sarah, what do you usually do in the evenings?
I usually relax after work. I often make dinner at home. Sometimes I go for a walk. And I always watch a little TV before bed, even though I know it's a bad habit.
We talked about that. Okay, next question. How often do you exercise?
I exercise about 4 times a week. I usually go for a run or do yoga. I love yoga. It's one of my favorite habits.
Nice. Do you have any bad habits you are trying to stop?
Yes, I'm trying to stop eating sweets after dinner. It's really hard. I always want something sweet, but I'm working on it.
That is a very relatable bad habit. Okay, last question. Did you used to have any habits that you don't have anymore?
Yes, I used to drink a lot of soda every day, but I stopped about 2 years ago. Now I drink water and tea, much healthier.
Excellent. Great answers. Okay, listeners, did you follow that? I hope you could understand everything Sara said.
Now it's your turn, Matt. Let me ask you the same questions.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you usually do in the evenings?
I usually cook dinner. Well, sometimes I order food. Then I watch TV or a movie. I often listen to podcasts, too. I love podcasts.
Of course you do. How often do you exercise?
I try to go to the gym twice a week, but honestly, sometimes it's only once. I want to go more. It's a goal of mine.
Do you have any bad habits?
Yes, definitely. I have a bad habit of checking my phone too much. In the morning, during meals, before bed, I'm always on my phone.
That is a very, very common habit these days. And did you used to have any habits that changed?
Yes, I used to drink energy drinks every day when I was in university. Now I never drink them. I switched to coffee, which is better, I think.
Maybe. Okay, listeners, I hope this conversation was helpful and fun. Did you notice how natural it sounded?
Yes, and that is the goal. We want you to feel comfortable using these phrases in your own life, with your friends, at work, in class.
So here is your homework. Think about your own habits, your morning habits, your evening habits, your good habits, and your bad habits.
Try to write 5 sentences about your habits in English. Use the words we talked about today. Always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, never.
For example, I always wake up at 7. I usually eat breakfast at home. I sometimes go for a walk in the evening. I rarely watch TV during the week. I never skip my morning coffee.
See? 5 sentences. Simple, clear. And now you can talk about your habits in English. That is real progress.
You can also try to say them out loud. Pronunciation is important. Say the sentences slowly at first, then faster.
And don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn. Every time you make a mistake, you get a little better.
That's so true. We all make mistakes. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The important thing is to keep going. Let's also think about some very common everyday habits so you have more vocabulary to work with.
Great idea. In the morning, for example, what are some of the most common morning habits people have?
Okay, so some very common morning habits are brushing your teeth, taking a shower, making the bed, eating breakfast, and unfortunately, checking your phone.
Yes, that last one. Most people check their phones first thing in the morning. It has become a very common modern habit.
And some people meditate in the morning, or they journal. They write in a notebook about how they feel or what they want to do that day.
Journaling is a really nice habit. I tried it for a while. I used to journal every morning, actually, but I stopped when I got busy.
Oh, really? Did you stop completely?
I did, sadly, but I want to start again. I'm going to try to make it a regular habit. It really helped me feel organized and calm.
Listeners, notice what Matt just said. I used to journal every morning. That is a past habit that stopped. Very natural use of used to.
And then, I'm going to try to make it a regular habit. That is a future plan, something I want to start again.
Beautiful. You can talk about past habits, present habits, and future goals, all using the language from today's episode.
Now let's also talk about afternoon and evening habits, because habits are not only in the morning, right?
That's right. What are some common afternoon habits? Some people take a short nap after lunch. In many cultures, that is very normal and healthy.
Yes. In English, we say, I take a nap, or I have a nap. Both are correct. For example, I always take a nap on Sunday afternoons.
I sometimes take a nap on weekends, too. During the week, I can't. I have too much to do. But on Saturday, maybe a 20-minute nap. It's wonderful.
I'm jealous. I can never sleep during the day. Even if I'm very tired, my body just won't let me. I lie down and my mind keeps going.
Some people are like that. Your brain is too active. Okay, other afternoon habits, going for a walk, having a snack, drinking tea, or calling a friend.
I often call my mom in the afternoon. That's a habit I've had for years, almost every day, around 3 or 4 o'clock. We talk for about 10 or 15 minutes.
That's really lovely. And then evening habits. What are the most common ones?
cooking dinner, watching TV, reading before bed, taking a shower or bath, and going to sleep at a regular time.
Having a bedtime routine is actually very important for good sleep. Doing the same things before bed tells your brain, okay, it's time to rest now.
My bedtime routine is simple. I wash my face, brush my teeth, read for 20 minutes, and then sleep. I almost always do it in that exact order.
Mine is a little messier. I often watch TV in bed, which I know is a bad habit, and then I fall asleep with the TV still on. I've been trying to stop that.
Sarah, you should definitely change that habit. Sleep experts say screens before bed are very bad for sleep quality.
I know, I'm working on it. Okay, so listeners, you can use all of these daily activities as practice material. Talk about your day in English.
Even if you're alone at home, you can practice out loud. Describe what you do every day. Use the frequency adverbs. Use the time expressions.
And if you want to practice with someone, you can talk to a friend, a classmate, or even write to us. We love hearing from our listeners.
The more you use these words and structures, the more natural they become. Language is a skill, and like any skill, you get better with practice.
Think about it like a habit. If you practice English every day, even for just 10 or 15 minutes, you will improve faster than you think.
So today's lesson is not just about talking about habits. It is a habit. Make learning English a habit.
I love that, Matt. That's a great way to think about it. Make listening to this podcast your habit. Make practicing English your habit.
Absolutely. Okay, we're getting close to the end of today's episode. Before we finish, let's do a very quick vocabulary review.
Great idea. I'll say the word and Matt will use it in a sentence. Ready?
Ready.
Always.
I always drink coffee in the morning.
Usually.
I usually walk to work, but sometimes I take the bus.
Often.
I often listen to music while I exercise.
Sometimes.
I sometimes cook Italian food on the weekends.
Rarely.
I rarely stay up past midnight. I like to sleep early.
Never.
I never miss my morning alarm. I always wake up on time.
Perfect. Great job, Matt. Listeners, I hope you were saying those sentences too. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Okay, one last thing before we go. Let's talk about talking about habits with other people, because it's not just about saying your habits.
Right. Sometimes you want to ask someone about their habits. We talked about a few questions already, but let's review.
The most useful question is, what do you usually do? For example, what do you usually do on your days off? What do you usually do for exercise?
Or, how often do you? How often do you cook? How often do you go out with friends? How often do you study English?
Hopefully every day. And you can also ask, do you have any good habits? Do you have any bad habits you want to stop?
These are great questions for conversations with friends, in English classes, or even in job interviews.
Yes, in a job interview, someone might ask, what are your daily habits? How do you stay organized? Do you have a morning routine?
And you can answer using everything we learned today. I always start my day by making a to-do list. I usually review my schedule in the morning. I never miss a deadline.
See how professional that sounds? Just simple, clear English. Present simple plus frequency adverbs. Very powerful.
English is really not as complicated as people think. Once you learn the patterns, you can say so many things.
That's the truth. And that's why we're here. To make it simple, to make it fun, and to help you use English every day.
We believe in you. Every episode you listen to is practice, and every new word you learn is a step forward.
Okay, well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Matt and Sara Podcast.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the best listeners. We truly appreciate every single one of you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and reach more English learners around the world.
And leave us a comment. Tell us about your habits. We love reading your messages. It makes us so happy.
Tell us one good habit and one bad habit. Write it in English in the comments. We will read them.
Yes, we always read the comments. Well, almost always.
Haha, Sarah, that was a frequency adverb used perfectly in real life.
I didn't even plan that. See? It becomes natural.
It really does. All right, everyone, we'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep going.
Bye, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you very soon. Keep speaking English every day, even just a little bit. It makes a huge difference.
Bye-bye.